Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another exciting episode of Trigger Warning Radio. I am your host, the Kaiju Conservative. Starting to move into some nicer weather. It's well into spring in a lot of areas in the country. A lot of places are starting to warm up, New York City included. So a lot of people, of course, this weekend are going to be going out, barbecuing, having a good time, especially now that a lot of the country is starting the process of moving back to some normalcy and opening back up. So naturally, what does the city of New York want to do? They want to stamp that out with every fascist bone they can muster. Yeah, no, they don't want to encourage people to go out and have fun or anything like that. They want to make sure that people stay inside under their boots, basically they want people to cower in their homes in fear because of the Chinese coronavirus, of course. Now, this was a story that was posted on Zero Hedge earlier Saturday afternoon. I'll go ahead and link the story in the comments section below. But basically, the story starts out as shell-shocked New Yorkers venture outside to try and enjoy a little time in the sun. The NYPD is dispatching 1,000 officers whose sole responsibility on Saturday will be enforcing the city's social distancing rules, even as surveillance data released by the governor on Saturday suggested 1/5 of New Yorkers had already been exposed and developed antibodies. Of course, this move comes just a couple of days after Mayor de Blasio, aka Warren Wilhelm, basically threatened New York's Jewish community after a funeral for a rabbi drew a couple hundred protesters, a couple hundred mourners, and this was actually a move that was roundly criticized by the left and the right as being completely anti-Semitic, especially when you take into account the fact that Bill de Blasio had been encouraging Muslims to celebrate Ramadan and had been actually offering free halal food as early as a few when he tweeted about that. And the crackdown on the Jewish community came, I think, about 4 or 5 days after that, middle of last week, just about. So it was seen by some as more than a little hypocritical of Warren Wilhelm. Now, of course, the NYPD is going to be deploying foot police. They're going to be deploying mounted police. They're going to be deploying them to the parks and other quote-unquote problem areas. But they're also going to have aerial units as well, aerial surveillance of places where they think people are going to be congregating. And the NYPD police chief, Terrence Monahan, has stated that you will be issued a summons. They will arrest people. They will fine people. He said, "This is the nicest weather we've seen this year. We encourage people to come out and enjoy this weather, but you cannot gather. You cannot barbecue. We are going to give you a summons. There's been enough warnings." Yeah, that's just that's not tyrannical at all, is it? And we're seeing this sort of thing popping up throughout the country, mostly in blue states and blue strongholds. My own county, I wrote about this a couple of weeks ago in Sparta Report, but my own county instituted a mandatory mask ordinance. Basically, you are required by law to wear a mask, or you face $1,000 fine and up to 60 days in jail, or maybe it's a $500 fine or whatever. Point is, it's a pretty hefty penalty plus a criminal record for simply going out and wearing a mask, or going out and not wearing a mask. I've been out a bunch of times. I haven't worn a mask. This is just between you and me, though. Don't rat me out or anything like that. And then, of course, you've got Governor Whitler up in Michigan, who essentially banned travel between households. Her edicts got to the point where thousands of Michiganders basically went to the Capitol to protest her, still protesting her. There's actually been a protest there every couple of days. I think. I believe there was another pretty big protest over there on Friday. We saw massive protests in Huntington Beach, California, I believe it was, in Orange County, when Governor Newsom ordered only the beaches in Orange County closed, one of the most conservative counties in Southern California, or at least it was until ballot harvesting became legal in the 2018 election. Yeah, that's the only county that had its beaches ordered closed. Now, luckily, the sheriff said he will not be enforcing that sort of edict. But yeah, the thing that pisses me off about this coronavirus pandemic is two things that piss me off about the coronavirus pandemic. Number one, this has been seen as a prime by statists across the country to flex their fascist muscles. I mean, we have normal behavior being criminalized. I don't know if you saw it a couple of days ago, but there was a video that went viral of two cops in Wisconsin who basically showed up at some lady's doorstep and basically lectured her and berated her and threatened her because her daughter went over to play at a friend's house, something which violates the stay-at-home order that their governor has set down. Again, this is happening all over the country, mostly in local municipalities and cities, but a lot of states as well. Like I said, these blue states, they are feeling the full brunt of these tyrannical dictates. And then, of course, the second thing that really pisses me off about it is the number of people who are okay with this in this country. I mean, this is a country. This is the greatest country in the world. We're supposed to have the most freedom possible, and we have a lot of people here. I'm not going to say the vast majority of people, but quite a few people in this country, when their government says you're not allowed to leave your homes under penalty of arrest or you'll be thrown in jail, they just shrug and say, "Okay, yeah, no, it's a pandemic, got to save lives, and yeah, no, I'm just gonna stay home." The fact that a lot of people in this country aren't even questioning, and in fact are responding almost every time I've brought it up on Twitter or any other kind of social media, I've inevitably had leftists screaming at me saying, "I want people to die because I want to leave my house without being afraid of being arrested for not having a mask on," or something like that. I mean, it's absolutely freaking crazy. Thankfully, though, at least the tide seems to be turning in a lot of places against this sort of thing. Now that some places have been locked down for a month and a half or more. Now that we're seeing the tide starting to turn in this whole coronavirus pandemic. Now that we're starting to hear President Trump and Vice President Pence talking about opening things up, you have this groundswell of popular support for opening up these countries, for opening up these states that are suffering under these orders. And you have people protesting daily, sometimes in violation of these social distancing guidelines. And I say good for them. I really hope this is something that continues, and I really hope it gets to the point where the governors of these various states have no choice but to open things up, because everybody's already opened up on their own. I want to see people go out and pack the beaches. I want to see people go back to work. I want to see businesses start to open up, and I want to see it regardless of what the little Hitlers in the local municipalities say. So what if your county commission says you can't open up because pandemic? You know what? There's not a damn law out there that where somebody can tell you what to do, like, in that manner. There's not a damn law out there, especially not in the Constitution, that supports anything these people are doing. So you know what? I say go out there, open back up. Who cares what they say? That's the only way that this country is going to get back to normal. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. As always, if you liked what you heard, leave a like. Next time.